Yo, what's going on? I paused my game to be here, see? I paused my game to be here. This is RJ Game News USA, and today we're going to go over the review scores for Ghost of Yotei. And this is a very highly anticipated game, a PlayStation exclusive, coming October 2nd, 2025. It's got an 87 on Metacritic after 107 reviews, and we're going to check that out right now. So, if you're new, subscribe. If you're new or old, hit that like button. Much appreciated. We have 99 positive reviews and 8 mixed. And we're going to go over some of these here. We're not going over all these. I don't have all day to go over all these reviews. But we do have 100 scores here. 100 from COG Connected, saying Ghost of Yotei is one of the best games I've ever played. From top to bottom, beginning to end, it's the epitome of what AAA game developers should strive for. Completely delivers on all fronts: combat, narrative, visuals, and world building and audio. High praise there from COG Connected. We also have a perfect 100 from Digital Trends, which says Sucker Punch leaves nothing on the table with Ghost of Yotei. This game represents everything we were promised the PS5 could deliver, and then some. Every aspect of the artistry, mechanics, and technology is used to the fullest perfect balance. Wow. Loot Level Chili with a perfect 100, saying Ghost of Yotei is a genuine masterpiece that takes up the mantle dropped by Tsushima and runs with it. Of course, you guys know this is the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which I believe actually had a slightly lower Metacritic score, if I'm not mistaken. We have a bunch of other 100s, but I'm not just here to kiss this game's ass or suck this game off. We need to talk about other scores. Area Jungus with a 95 says Ghost of Yotei checks all the boxes, particularly through a main storyline that hooks you from the very first moment and continues to build powerful emotions. Despite being a story of vengeance, its many familiar moments transform it into a deeply human tale. So Area Jungus focused on the story element there of the game more than anything else. A bunch of 95s. We have a 93 from Game Informer, which says working your way through list in video games can be incredibly satisfying. Ghost of Yotei understands this internally and capitalizes on that by starting the protagonist Atsu literally writing out her list of the 6 men who took everything from her. The game is really about hunting down these 6 guys, is what it comes down to. How about a 92 from Impulse Gamer? Developer Sucker Punch has produced a fantastic realization of Ezu Hakido, a region of feudal Japan that we don't get to see a lot in games, let alone explore in such detail. Hobby Consolus with a 91 says Ghost of Yotei is a consummate revenge game in which Sucker Punch dares to present an open world with good ideas that come close to fitting together perfectly. Dazzling in its visuals, powerful in its narrative, and sharp in its combat. And I imagine here we have a ton of 90s, and we do. We have a whole shitload of 90s. Push Square saying, building on its predecessor in all the right ways, Ghost of Yotei is an incredible sequel that makes you the ruler of your experience. Player freedom gives its open world, letting you craft the type of game that you want to play with improved combat and a better story. So clearly they think this is better than Ghost of Tsushima. And yep, we're still scrolling through. 90s, 90s, 90, 90. 90 definitely is the most common score I'm seeing on here. How about an 89 from Spazio Games, saying Ghost of Yotei is a melancholic journey that intertwines a thirst of vengeance with a sense of contemplation. It does not revolutionize the genre, but it makes a strong return for a single-player experience on PlayStation. And then, with an 88, we have a review from WCC Tech saying Ghost of Yotei is a worthy sequel to the already excellent Ghost of Tsushima, building upon that game's foundation with an equally interesting, albeit quite different plot, and select improvements to combat and open world exploration, although it may feel a little too familiar. The Washington Post and GameStar also gave it an 88. Oddly enough, not a single reviewer gave it an 87, which is its actual Metacritic score. However, This Is a Game gave it an 86, saying, surpassing the glory of its predecessor, a brutal and beautiful epic depicting the desperate vengeance and healing of a wounded soul. And 4P.de with an 85 says, not quite as well-rounded as its predecessor, Ghost of Yotei offers more variation, but falls short in terms of story and depth of side characters. So there's the first criticism we've really heard, is the side characters lacking depth. We do have quite a bit of 85s, and then we get to an 84 from PlayUA, saying Ghost of Yotei is a gorgeous, bigger, and better follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima that refines combat, expands exploration, and delivers one of the most stunning worlds in gaming. Its diverse weapon system and shrine-based progression make every fight and discovery feel worthwhile. Every.it with an 83 says Ghost of Yotei offers a vast world that compels us to explore, thanks to an incredible visual appeal and a series of simple ideas that effectively ward off the taint of repetitiveness. That's funny. I did not have that on my bingo card today, that a reviewer would use the word taint. Taint is not a word I would have expected a reviewer to use in a Ghost of Yotei review. And we have a bunch of 80s, including from the industry leader themselves, IGN, saying a predictable but well-executed story takes you through Ghost of Yotei's gorgeous landscapes and satisfying fluid action. It may not be revolutionizing open-world games, but it's a great distillation of the samurai fantasy. IGN not really as hot on this game. With an 80, I'm surprised. I could have booked it a while ago. Would have bet any amount of whatever that Ghost of Yotei would have got a 9, maybe even a 10 from IGN, but probably a 9. But they end up with an 8, which is an 80 on the Metacritic scale for IGN. A little low for them. The check didn't clear. We'll say. And we have a 75 from IGN Italia, saying Ghost of Yotei offers a solid gameplay and atmosphere, but falls short of expectations with deja vu design and modest production values. A good open world, yet not the standout PS5 exclusive it should be. So IGN Italia mostly says it's more the same, and so we're a little disappointed. And that brings us to the mixed column. We have some mixed reviews here. One from Game Cult with a 70, saying Ghost of Yotei has clearly refined its formula on quite a few points. Exploration and construction of its open world being foremost, delivering a far greater sense of discovery than the previous installment. So we have other 70s here, but we won't read them all. We have a 60 from Radio Times and a 60 from our pal, our buddy. We've made fun of them before. Eurogamer is the low score here with a 60, saying Sucker Punch's sequel offers more great swords play and heartfelt storytelling, but would be better served as a linear action game, freed of its poor side quest and dated open world. Whoa, buddy! Eurogamer just took the shot at Sucker Punch for having a bad open world. Holy shit. And Radio Times at their 60 said, if you've ever seen one Japanese orphan avenging their parents' death, you have seen them all. That's the question that I can't seem to shake after spending the last few weeks sinking all of my spare time into Ghost of Yotei. That sounds like a reviewer that is pissed off he had to review this game. That's not good. But anyway, mostly positive reception here. An 87 overall Metacritic. Not quite at the must-play level of a 90, but just about getting there. Probably in the Game of the Year discussion, but probably not worthy of winning Game of the Year either. Certainly not going to be my Game of the Year. Personally, right now, I'm leaning towards Donkey Kong Bonanza. But, besides that, guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every single view, every single like, every single sub, and every single comment. Even the hate comments, leave them down below. I'll deal with you later. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Peace. I'm out. Have a good one.